people that get priced out of a job. Yeah.
Now, democratic socialism is the thing right now. You're hearing it all the time. You're hearing it constantly in the news. What do you attribute that? Do you think it's a frustration with just lifelong politicians? Like, what do you think it is that's causing this uprise and upswing? Like the woman, what is her name, that won in New York?
Yeah, she's actually half Puerto Rican. One of my my countrymen. But, yeah, I forget her name.
One of our countrymen. Isn't Puerto Rico the United States?
No, actually, I found this out as I'm traveling now. I still have an American passport. But when I mention what country I'm from, and I look where you live, I always have to select Puerto Rico as a country. Even though it's part of America, it's still considered its own country, even though you still are American citizens when you live there and you travel on a U.S. passport. It's listed as a separate country from the United States.
I was just going to read her name from the tweet.
Yeah, that's her.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, 28 years old.
Yeah, well, she beat a 10-term
incumbent.
Yeah. And of course he was a white guy. That's a negative for him.
She's a woman of color.
Yeah,
Latina.
Nice looking woman too, actually.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. So, but the thing is, people I think in that community are just voting out of frustration. In fact, I looked at her commercial, and it's a very powerful commercial. Kind of like about women like me are not supposed to run for office. We're not supposed to. Of course, that's all a bunch of nonsense. But it's a story that I think resonated with a lot of people. Like, hey, let's stick it to the man, right? And that's what they did. But I think that this wave is going to be bigger than people think. I think people are underestimating. They're saying, "Oh, this is unique because she's in a heavily minority community, and so that message worked better." But look, Bernie Sanders.
Read this here that Jamie just pulled up. She won in a district where she didn't even run. Progressive candidate also won a primary in her neighboring district in the Bronx as a write-in for the Reform Party.
Oh, well, that's all right. But she won. She won?
Yeah.
I wonder. Well, I don't think you could have two House seats simultaneously.
This is crazy.
But
she's hot.
But if you look at Bernie Sanders' appeal, it wasn't just poor people and minorities that were attracted to the Sanders message.
And what was that message that was attractive?
It was
to
social.
them?
It was the
Giving
corporations. We got to tax the rich. We got to tax the corporations.
Redistribution of wealth.
And it's all about getting stuff for free, right? It's all about free health care, free education, guaranteed jobs. I mean, they want the government to guarantee everybody a job.
Well, that was one of the things that Bernie said, that they could guarantee people jobs.
But you can't
everyone in the country.
How's the government going to guarantee a job? First of all, where's the government?
Insane.
Where's the government going to get the money? They did that in the Soviet Union. Yeah, everybody has a job, but nobody makes anything, and so everybody is poor. I mean, you can't. They want to guarantee a $15 an hour job plus benefits, plus vacation, plus health care. To do what? And, of course, what's the government? The government's going to assign jobs to everybody? What are they all going to do?
Exactly.
I mean, people forget that we don't want jobs. We want the productivity that result from the job. So it's about productive employment, not make work, right? We don't want the government digging holes and filling them. We want real jobs. And how does the private sector know what jobs are needed? It's demand. It's individuals that want something. They're guided by a profit motive. The government doesn't make a profit. There's nothing to guide them to efficiently allocate resources. And how is the government going to just figure out what people should do and just assign them? Yeah. Okay, this is the job you're going to do. This is, it would destroy employment in this country if you did that.
Well, it just doesn't even make sense that you could offer everyone a job. Like, you don't have those jobs, first of all. And the idea that, well, what are we going to do? We're going to create X amount of construction jobs and X amount of dishwashing jobs and X amount of car wash jobs. You're not going to.
And where's the money going to come from to pay for it? They're going to have to take the money from the private sector that would have created efficient jobs, and they're going to give it to the government to create inefficient jobs. It's a disaster. But the problem that I mentioned earlier is the economy is in bad shape because of all the government. That's what went back to the Occupy Wall Street, is that the people are protesting because there's serious problems in the country. They don't realize that it's not capitalism that is creating those problems. Capitalism would solve those problems. It's government interference that is causing the problems that they're protesting. And so the same thing with these socialists, that they understand that their standard of living is falling. right? Look at one of the things they want to do is they want to give free education, right? Because the liberals are all complaining about the fact that college is so expensive and that students have so much debt. That's because of government. Before the government got involved, college was cheap. I mean, government drove up the cost of college by guaranteeing student loans. I mean, that's how the government got the votes of students. They promised the students something for nothing. They said, hey, vote for me, and I'll guarantee, I'll make it easier for you to get a loan to go to college, right? Well, the minute colleges knew that people could get these loans, they started jacking up the tuition so they could benefit from all this government money. So the colleges benefited, the banking system benefited by making riskless loans that the taxpayer was on the hook for. But the byproduct of all this cheap money being funneled at the colleges was that the colleges kept raising the tuition higher and higher and higher, and then the politicians kept increasing the amount of loans they would subsidize. And so all of this is the fault of government. The government created the problem that they're now complaining about. But, the students don't understand that that's why college is so expensive.
Well, no one sees a clear way out. That's part of the problem, and that's one of the reasons why socialism is so compelling. It's like this seems like it's an alternative to what we're currently experiencing. So people look at that and go, maybe that's the solution.
Yeah, look, people want something different. I said that's why